this is absolutely fascinating. I mentioned a few moments ago there is research happening on your doorstep that sometimes you're aware of, sometimes you're not, and when you do hear about it, it could blow your mind. How about this? You might feel flattered or embarrassed, but you'll have experienced that time when you answer the phone and the person on the other end is convinced that they are talking to your mum or dad. Well, don't blame them, because it could be that there's something in your genes that makes you sound like your parents. That's what researchers at the University of Nottingham are trying to prove. They do need your help with this as well. Abdul is here. Abdul Kader is from the University School of Medicine. You are very welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Tell us about this research then. What is it that you're actually doing?
So basically we are trying to answer this fundamental question of whether the characteristics of voice that we perceive, they are due to genetics, or whether they are more likely to be due to environmental exposure. So it's very often presumed in many studies, but nobody has really answered this question. So really the idea is to work with the public and to see whether we can produce, high quality data for the research in a system that we call the massive online public engagement. And anybody can be involved as long as he or she has a computer, internet access, and a working microphone.
Okay. Well, we'll get on to how you can get involved in a moment. Are you talking about accents or the way voices sound?
So we are trying to sort of extract like basic properties of voice, such as intensity, fundamental frequency, format dispersion. If you were to take part, all you will have to do is to pronounce vowel A for a couple of seconds. And having that recording, we then should be able to extract those fundamental parameters of voice, which we can use for research.
So, in theory then, our voices, how we talk, is formed way before we're born, in theory?
We don't know, really. It's an open research question, but presumably the human DNA is like a blueprint to build the human body during the embryological development. So it can be the case that there are some genes that influence the way the vocal cords are built during the embryological development, and it's likely that it's those genes that will influence how we will sound later on in life. But we don't know. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe in fact it has nothing to do with the genetics, and maybe it's just because we've been living in some specific environment.
Yeah. Because, of course, these days people move around a lot, don't they? And I'm trying to think, with my own family background, I've got some roots up in Cumbria. So my grandfather, my grandmother lived in Cumbria, and then my other grandparents lived in Manchester. So both are northwest, and then we've moved around as a family to the northeast, and then down to the Midlands. And people do that quite a lot, though, these days, don't they?
So it's a little bit of challenge for us. So, but one of the questions we will ask people if they take part is whether they have been living with a particular person for a specific time period. So, say they've been living for the whole of their life so far with that person, with whom they are genetically related. And so using that information, we hopefully will be able to tease apart the effects of environment and the effects of genetics.
So you mentioned that people need a computer with a microphone, internet access. How much time would people be investing in this?
Not more than 10 minutes. I mean, it depends on you how you'd like to be involved, because we also included some educational videos there, because when I applied for the research grant to get the money to conduct this project, I also said that it will be of benefit to the public, because it's really important that the society is scientifically literate, and so there are some educational videos in which they can learn about the science behind what we do in this case, but they don't need to do that. They can just take part and submit the voice, and that will be pretty quick.
Okay. And your work would be lasting how long? How long is this particular bit of research?
So it depends on the response we get from the public. We would like to have at least in hundreds data submissions, and the larger the number that would participate, the better for us, because the bigger sample sizes mean that the standard error of our calculations will be smaller. So it depends on what kind of response we get and how big is it. And if we get the necessary submissions, then we can perform the data analysis pretty quickly, I think.
Sure. And am I right in thinking that, again, we're doing a little bit of guessing in the future here, but one thing could be, a spin-off could be a prediction app that could predict how your children could talk before you've even had children? Is that one thing you're looking at?
Yes, so that's actually I should have said that the starting point for this project was when I came across a DIY project in America organized by a lady called Heather Dewey Hackborg. And basically what she was able to do, she could pick up any material from the street, like chewing gums and things like that, and she was able to extract the DNA from this material and predict the people's faces from this genetic material. And I thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. Maybe I can build up on that. Maybe I would be able to sort of, not also help in predicting the facial features, but also the voice of the person who left chewing gum on the street.
The vocal features.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
So I looked at whether there were any studies conducted already that would be have looked at correlation between the specific genetic variants and the different voice characteristics, because there were none. So that meant I had to conduct the study from the beginning. But the first question we needed to ask whether is it possible to whether there is a genetic component in the first place or not.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then yes, you're right. We may be able to build sort of an app, and that a computer program that if you speak or you say a particular vowel, it then may be able to produce the likely voice of your future children.
Interesting. Well, that's a little way ahead, so we'll wait to see about
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
It depends on what's the reality. You know, what's the
All right,
situation.
Well, we will leave it there for now, but thank you for explaining more. And by the way, if you'd like to get involved in this particular piece of research, we have the details here at BBC Radio Nottingham. By all means, give us a call, drop us a text, and we can put you in touch with Abdul and his team at the University of Nottingham. Watch this space.